the next hour, my goal is to kind of change the way you guys think about back control a little bit. I don't really have an easy time holding the back, period, like with the seatbelt. I think it's super difficult. But just to prove the point here without a lot of explanation, here's what I want you guys to do just to start. Quick little game, like 2 minutes and we'll switch, okay? I want one partner to start behind their partner, okay? Just get whatever control you like, seatbelt, blah, 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 okay? Back, partner with control. Your job is to hold the position, not to choke, not to attack, just to control, okay? Inside player, your job is to turn in and face your partner or to put your back on the floor and face your partner, okay? Does everybody understand what I want them to do? You want me to show you? I'll show you really quick. Mario, you mind? Okay, so if Mario's gonna start on my back, go for it, yep. Whatever control she likes, okay? Her job is just to hold me, just 2 minutes, okay? My job is either to put my back on the floor, kind of a more traditional way to escape, okay? Once I clear that line of her leg, we start again, or if I can, yep, go for it. Turn into her and get to my knees to face her, okay? Everybody understand what I want you to do? We're not gonna spend an hour on this, just a minute or two, and we'll switch. Grab your partner, please, let's go. All right, so without a lot of explanation, in the next hour, my goal is to kind of change the way you guys think about back control a little bit. I don't really have an easy time holding the back, period, like with the seatbelt. I think it's super difficult. But just to prove the point here without a lot of explanation, here's what I want you guys to do just to start. Quick little game, like 2 minutes and we'll switch, okay? I want one partner to start behind their partner, okay? Just get whatever control you like, seatbelt, blah, 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 okay? Back, partner with control. Your job is to hold the position, not to choke, not to attack, just to control, okay? Inside player, your job is to turn in and face your partner or to put your back on the floor and face your partner, okay? Does everybody understand what I want them to do? You want me to show you? I'll show you really quick. Mario, you mind? Okay, so if Mario's gonna start on my back, go for it, yep. Whatever control she likes, okay? Her job is just to hold me, just 2 minutes, okay? My job is either to put my back on the floor, kind of a more traditional way to escape, okay? Once I clear that line of her leg, we start again, or if I can, yep, go for it. Turn into her and get to my knees to face her, okay? Everybody understand what I want you to do? We're not gonna spend an hour on this, just a minute or two, and we'll switch. Grab your partner, please, let's go. So what did we glean from that 3 minutes of playing with our partner? Kind of difficult generally to hold somebody like that, right? I know you're like, but Brad, I'd be attacking, I'd be doing X and Y, I'd be hand fighting, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, of course you would. But on its face value, that chest to back control with the seatbelt is, at least for me, and it looked like for 99% of you guys, fairly difficult to control, right? Okay. So what I'm going to attempt to do here over the next, I don't know, 5 minutes, whatever, is to show you guys a few different ways that we can sort of narrow the scope on connection, all right? And what I mean by that ideally is when I focus on the back, I feel like trying to hold somebody in this like sort of way that's sort of like the acceptable way in jiu-jitsu to do it is just too hard. It's kind of tiresome. All right, maybe I end up on top, I end up in mount, whatever, fine. But a lot of times I end up with the other person escaping and now it's a scramble, okay? So we're gonna start with just this idea of control. I'm gonna explain it to you guys and kind of show you, and then we'll just play with it. The crux of the class is gonna be this push-pull idea. A lot of this actually was, this movement that I'm gonna show you guys is kind of inspired by Preet's baby bridge idea, which I use a lot from bottom, which has helped me immensely in jiu-jitsu the last few years. But I sort of do the same thing with this back control, and I'm gonna show you guys how it works, okay? So we're just gonna start with the sort of normal hooks and the seatbelt. Right now, I think the seatbelt's a really good way to take the back, right? So if I'm on top or something and I want to bring her to this position where I'm on one side or the other to attack, I think the seatbelt is good. I just don't think it's a good way to hold the person, okay? So you guys are gonna essentially start here. We're gonna, for today, we're gonna work from this, what I call headside attacks. You know, some people have different names for these, choke side, head side, meaning I'm gonna fall to the side where my head is connected, okay? So as I start to do that, and apparently I say okay a lot, which someone pointed out last class. So I apologize, okay? We're here, all right. So as we fall, watch what's gonna happen. I'm falling into the position. I'll just do it kind of from a stationary spot for now, just to show you guys, and then we'll do it a little more in the transition, okay? My top arm here is just gonna come around as I'm falling, and I'm gonna use that tricep as my frame to start, and I'm just gonna rear naked choke Mario's shoulder here. So I'll slide to my bicep, and I'll slide in, okay? My chest is gonna come forward,
and my elbows are gonna close. All right, you guys with me so far? Okay. All right, so this is where we're gonna be, okay? So I'm falling from my, fuck, I said it again, I didn't mean to. All right, we're here, I'm falling, I'm going over, all right, and I'm stepping on my partner's hip, and I'm making a connection here, pushing my chest forward and closing. Now, if I just stay here, it's a little bit annoying for you, right? But it's not terrible. Go ahead, just move a little bit. Yeah, turn into me, go to your knees, perfect. Okay, it's not really gonna work that well. Mari's, you know, I'm a little bit bigger than her. Still hard to hold her there, okay? So really the sort of beauty in this control comes from this idea of gas and brake, like if you were in a car, okay? It's a push-pull idea, or gas and clutch probably is a better analogy, okay? I'm pushing down with this foot, and watch what I'm gonna do with this upper body. Ideally, I just wanna change the alignment of Maria's shoulder, and I'm trying to bring her shoulder kind of up to where her ear is here, where her jaw is, all right? And this is kind of where that baby bridge kind of comes in a little bit. So I'm stepping on the hip, and as I'm in this control, all right, I'm gonna step, right? I'm gonna put the brake on here. So I'm really gonna create good downward pressure on her hip, and I'm gonna start to slide my hip forward and move my shoulder back, okay? So what it does is it changes this sort of relative position of her shoulder to her jaw, right? And it makes it kind of hard for her to turn now. Can you turn into me a little bit?
Don't want to.
It's pretty bad, okay? So without my partner for a second, as we switch and we get our control, okay, again, we're putting the brake on. This is really, really important, this push-pull idea, because I need to create connection on her hip by pushing down, and I need to move my shoulder with this grip back. So my belly, my hip, my center of mass is coming forward, and my shoulder is moving back, okay? So the first few times you do this, it's gonna feel a little bit weird, all right? But I just want you guys, again, to play with this, and I'm happy to do it on you too if you wanna feel it as I walk around. So start from a seated position, all right? As we fall, again, look what's happening. I'm just, instead of trying to target this big area here, I'm just focusing all my energy here in this one place, okay? On this shoulder. And I'm pushing down on the opposite side. So as we fall, I'm here. Okay, again, rear naked choke, kind of close those elbows in, push your chest forward as you step on your partner's hip. Now as you push down, hip forward, shoulder back, just a little bit. It's kind of like, not to steal Preet's lingo, but it's kind of like what he calls one of those clicks. I'm just kind of clicking that in a little bit, and now I'll feel that spine is a little bit out of alignment, and when Maria tries to move, go ahead. It's really, really hard, okay? And you guys notice too, maybe the more advanced guys, especially and girls, are starting to notice that as my partner struggles here, my knee is really close to her shoulder already, which is gonna start to prime me for all these attacks and hand fighting and things that I wanna do here in a few minutes, okay? You guys with me? Makes sense? How many times did I say okay there? It's like 7 or 8 at least, right? For sure. Okay. Grab your partner. Let's just play with that. You guys can switch on your own. It's cooperative right now. We'll play some more games toward the end, okay? I don't clap. That shit's stupid. Just go. Go. All right, so maybe this will just kind of help you guys clue in on thinking about this control even a little bit more, okay? So as you kind of go hip forward and shoulder back and kind of rotate, just again, it's just slight. I see some of you guys like completely doing that. I'm not telling you not to do that. That's great if you can get it. Usually in the struggle, I won't be able to like, you know, really stretch the person out unless they're considerably smaller and lighter than me, okay? But as you think about like sort of that little kind of hip forward, shoulder back, that stretch, think about that idea of, again, using that control that you have on that shoulder, over and under, to bring that shoulder up, okay? The more up I can bring my partner's shoulder, right, the harder it is for them to move, okay, simply put. And it's very, very easy to do that. It actually takes very little energy. There's no strength involved here. I'm just, as I step on Maria's hip, I'm already connected here, so I'm already underneath. I already have this underhook, which obviously, even if worst case scenario, she bails completely on any of these, I always have an underhook, which we'll talk about, right? But here, again, what I'm trying to do as I rotate is I'm trying to literally take that shoulder. It won't actually happen like that and make it kind of touch my partner's jaw here. Okay? So that's what I want you guys to think about in your head as you do this. So when you're, okay?
No.
So as your partner tries to move here, that every time that shoulder's up, it's like very hard for her. Like essentially keep this shoulder higher, right? Than that line, it's very hard for her to turn her head toward it. Does that make sense to you guys? So just kind of in the back of your mind with most of the stuff that we're gonna do today, because we're gonna kind of rep this over and over again as we start working a little more situational here, okay? But that's the basic, like sort of first basic control. Okay, is everyone kind of feeling good with that? Okay, do you guys want to play with that a little bit more, or should we? Move on a little bit more. Okay. So again, why don't we go another minute? Now though, let's add like just a little degree here of difficulty to it, and not really, but just another kind of thing to it. Let's try to do it in the transition here, okay? Because the reality is, like on YouTube, I know every back attack thing looks like this from here, and that's kind of bullshit. Nobody's sitting like this behind you, right? People are moving, it's dynamic. So I want you guys to think about just starting here, right? Pretend you're going from mount or from anywhere else, honestly, even if you want to do it from a transition, you can. If you want to do it from top or belly heaver or however you take the back, or whatever. Okay, and just think about as you're falling, even if it's from here, in the moment as we're starting to fall, getting to that spot. Okay, so try to do that all at once. Try to land essentially with that control of your partner's shoulder and that foot on the hip. Okay, push, pull. Okay, brake and gas, or gas and clutch, however you want to think about it. Down and up, kind of do that little baby bridge there, and this should make it fairly difficult for your partner to move. And like we'll talk about in a second or two here, the beautiful thing about this is as she does start to move and resist here, it's going to give me access to like pretty much everything that I want here in terms of attacks, right, which we'll start to get into. Okay, you guys with me so far? I said okay 7 times there, 8, 16. Okay, thank you for keeping track. That's the guy that pointed out that I said okay a lot. Okay, appreciate you making me feel insecure. Okay. Grab a partner. Let's just work like another minute or two. We're gonna go on. I got a lot to show you guys. I know I'm rushing a little bit, but it's because I want to show you guys stuff.
It's the chest forward that I'm changing. Just this kick, and then we can still go back more, I guess.
All right, so a couple really good questions. All right, like everything else that we do here, right? A lot of it is dependent on body type, your style. Are you big? Are you small? Are you heavy? Are you light? Are you flexible, etc.? Okay. So a couple of people ask me questions about like sort of this position, right? Like they're having a hard time moving this shoulder up if you're tight here, okay? And that can be fair, all right? If that is the case, for whatever reason, if you're doing everything else right, like you're kind of hip forward, shoulder back, I'm kind of making a circle. I want you guys to think about like that baby bridge, like I said before, like where my hip's going forward and my shoulder's going back, okay? I'm not just pulling her shoulder up.
When you say you pull the shoulder up, do you do that during the process or after you have it unfolded?
I'm doing everything at the same time. At the same time, yeah. The faster I can get to that structure where she's uncomfortable and can't move, the happier my life is.
Yeah, because I'm thinking I cannot get the shoulder up once I'm down.
Yeah, once the person's already starting to move, and they don't want you to pull, it's going to be different. It's going to be hard to, for sure. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Okay, but what I said all that to say this: if you need to slide down a little bit here to move it up, okay, we had a couple people doing that over there. I think that's awesome. Okay. The idea is, again, can I bring this up and can I create downward pressure over here? If I can create that sort of imbalance in her spine, my control is a lot easier. I really don't even have to hold this. I can just be here. I'm not telling you to do that. Obviously, she's going to start hand fighting, but I'm just chilling here like, hey, how you doing, right? Hands can be up here as long as the shape of her spine has changed a little bit. Can you move a little more? It's kind of difficult, okay? When I say difficult, obviously I don't mean impossible, okay? I know she's going to start moving. It's just a matter of time, okay? But again, I just feel like this is a good starting point to start to keep control long enough that now I can start to attack, all right? And the nice thing is, if I do this correctly, like we started to say a second ago, all right, a lot of my attacks that I like to set up are going to come from basically the only way that she can move, all right? There's really only 1 or 2 ways she's going to move, and in this case, most of the time, I say like 99.9% of the time, right? When I'm here, okay, her shoulder is coming up, which means her head and her body have to sort of keep coming toward her shoulder. Does that make sense to you guys? So it's almost a given that she's going to turn in the direction that I'm already pulling her, right? Because if she goes that way, it just gets worse. You guys with me? All right. So knowing that my partner is going to start moving here, maybe even starting to clear this off or whatever, get the hook out of there and turn toward me, all right? That's now where a lot of the attacks are going to start to happen, okay? Even just walking around, I saw you guys kind of already doing this. Whenever I teach this class, people are already kind of doing the attacks that they like from there as they're practicing it. That's totally cool. All right. What do you guys think is one of the easiest things I could attack there since her arm is already separated from her body? Yeah, an armbar, right? What's another one? When there's an armbar, there's a... Okay, those are the big two. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of possibilities there, okay? But those are the two that we'll just kind of go over here as we integrate into these different controls that I'm going to show you guys. This is just the first one, all right? So I'm here, again, push, pull, whether it's here or lower, just bring her shoulder up and create that imbalance, okay? Now, I don't have to wait for Maria to move here. If I have control for a second, I can just bring my leg over her shoulder, all right? The nice thing is about this here is, again, look where my knee is relative to her shoulder. I don't have to be flexible, yeah? So I'm just here. I'm just biting down. Because this is essentially going to be a triangle to start, I don't want to be loose with this leg. I literally want to flex my feet and kind of chop down into that space, okay? So that back of that knee over my partner's shoulder. And then I'm just going to get control of my own shin. All right, so we're here. I'm switching into my spot, and I'm just keeping her here. Whether I attack right off the bat or she starts to move right away, my leg bites down right on her shoulder, okay? It doesn't matter how big or small I am because my hand doesn't have to travel very far here. Look where I am, right? Just to get to my shin, okay? So I'm just going to reinforce this grip. And the nice thing about this too is because of the way that I had the control here, can you guys see how that tricep is already in front of my partner's jawline, okay? So from here, I can use this as a push, right? I can even take my foot out of here to help, and I can start rocking. I can start pushing with this arm and pushing off the floor just to rock my partner over to the other side. It's very, very easy, okay? For me, I finished this maybe a little bit different than some people learned it. I learned this move like this, where you kind of come around and you pull this up like this and you try to close it. All right, I'm tall. So when I finish it the sort of traditional way, there's huge gaps in there, okay? And that's the enemy of a triangle, is those pockets of space, right? So instead, what I want you guys to think about, try it this way. When you get to here, okay, once you pull your partner over to the other side, just place your foot on the mat and start moving your hip down towards your partner's hip. And as you do that, pull a little bit, okay? Can you guys see when I do that how I create why can't I speak to this? It's crazy. Diagonal angle here, okay?
You know what X, Maria? Did you put one X down?
Can you put your legs down? It's the best UK in the business. That's what I use it, okay? But can you guys see now how my calf is essentially lined up with the artery, right? And that huge pocket of space that I had when I was directly behind her is now gone. I'm essentially diagonal. It's like shoulder to hip, okay? I can do that as many times as I need to finish. I pull it in, again, flexing my feet, all right? And I'm trying to hide that, all right? Now it's just flexing my feet and engaging those adductors. And the finish is very simple, okay? So one more time. I'm just gonna show you guys a couple submissions you probably already know, but kind of common sense from there. If you don't, cool. Maybe you got something that you can add in. But really it's about the control today, and we're gonna work a few other controls from there. So we're here, okay? Again, try to do it in the transition as I'm falling. I'm switching, I'm pushing, and I'm pulling, and I'm stretching my partner's shoulder out, creating that imbalance, okay? Good downward pressure with my foot. And now as soon as Maria starts to fight, or maybe I don't even wait for her to fight, I just bring it right over, and my hand is right here to grab my shin, okay? My other hand was still here. I just took it out because I did, but here, boom, all right? And so now when my foot flies the mat, I can rock my partner over. You guys see, I'm not trying to lift her off me. I'm kind of rocking her over, giving her a little nudge. And instead of moving behind her head, I'm gonna move toward her hip, down and in, okay? Do that as many times as you need to just get that space out of there. And now flex your feet, curl your toes up, and engage, okay? Obviously, where there's a triangle, I could always do arm bars there, kimuras, wrist locks, all that fun stuff too, okay? Good? We'll start there. Again, it's just the control, but give you guys a few submissions along the way just to play with, okay? Let's go. Thank you. As like sort of a tall, lankier guy, this is kind of a default thing that I do a lot. So I'll just try to give you guys just a couple more little details here, okay, which hopefully will help. All right, and maybe the why around those things before we go on. All right, so here again, I'm falling into my spot. I'm creating that push-pull. I'm creating that baby bridge and trying to bring my partner's shoulder up. And again, I can't say it enough times, the tension with this foot is very important. If you're just kind of placing this foot on your partner's hip and trying to move their shoulder, it's kind of very hard for me to control Maria's hips like that. So I have to create a downward pressure with this foot as I engage it. Now those two things are kind of working together as a team, yeah? Okay, so again, whether she's moving or whether I'm just deciding right at the bat as I'm falling, usually for me, I'm right there, okay? Let me give you guys one more thing to think about here, all right? The seatbelt, remember we said kind of was a hard way to hold our partner, all right? But when I say that, what I mean is the seatbelt with my arms is very hard. It's very hard to use my arms to control my partner's torso, all right? But when I replace my arm with my leg, it's like I just gave it some roids. Now my seatbelt is so strong now that even if Mario tries to bail on me, go ahead. It's like super difficult to get around this leg, okay? So another way you can think about this, like kind of organize it in your brain, is essentially what you're doing is you're replacing the arm with the leg, okay? That's all it is, right? I was here. If you feel more comfortable taking this arm out, it doesn't really matter, right? Because what I'm doing when I step on the floor here, and again, this push becomes really important, active toes here on the floor, is I'm essentially just trying to push her head over here and rock my legs with it, okay? So whether that feels better if you're staying in this spot, or for me, it feels better typically if I pull it out and I create an extension and I push the head. All right, we're gonna land in the same spot, okay? You guys with me so far? We good? Okay. Now again, don't forget this detail. This is kind of important here. My ideal, and again, depending on the size of my partner, maybe it won't be perfect, or if I have shorter legs, obviously, but my idea here is I wanna get my heel as close to her armpit as possible here, okay? Now I realize maybe I'm taller than some of you guys, but if you keep adjusting here by moving down and pulling up, moving down and pulling up, you're doing two things, okay? Every time that you do that, you're kind of ratcheting this space out of here, okay? So you're making your triangle tighter. It won't take as much to finish it. And the other thing that you're doing is you're making it easier to pull that heel towards your partner's armpit here, okay? So now when I do close my triangle, I don't want to leave this foot in the middle. I see some of you guys kind of closing and squeezing it here. Just grab my foot, Maria. Grab my foot. Perfect. With her arms or, with her legs, whatever here. And now jiu-jitsu sucks. I got here, I can't finish, okay? So instead, what I want you guys to think about here is, as you move out and that heel comes up, think about bringing this over and doing your best to hide it, even if it's over here on your partner's hip. Ideally, it's behind your partner's back, okay? You all right? Now my triangle becomes tighter by just flexing my feet, right? This is, again, the little detail here. Just flex your feet and squeeze everything, okay? Flexing your toes activates a lot of these really small muscles on a lot of these positions. For me, this is stuff that I use a lot, so I don't have to squeeze somebody. I just flex my feet, okay? So one more time, as you guys just try it a couple more times here, we're gonna go on, all right? Get your stretch, okay? Your partner can give you maybe a little resistance as they start moving, like bite, grab, push. All right, again, hip toward your partner's hip and pull. Hip and pull. Good. Avoid that space right there. Bad, right? Just bring it over here. Flex your feet. Okay? Let's go a couple more times. We're going to go on. I have a bunch of stuff to show you guys. And let's do it. Okay, so I want to show you guys this sort of second control position here, and this happens maybe for me a lot of times. I kind of developed this as I was playing with this, and I would go with guys in my gym that would get like good at defending it, or it happens to me a lot with people that are a lot bigger than me, okay? So I'm going to show you this on a second thing, and then we'll add a submission onto that, and these are all interchangeable, so as we play live here in a few minutes, you guys can go between any of the controls that we have here and the 3 or 4 submissions we're going to work, okay, or 2 or whatever we do, okay? Does that make sense? You guys good? Yep. Everybody feeling okay with what we've done so far? Yeah. All right, beautiful. How many times have I said okay? Where's my man? It's a counter. You lost count, didn't you? All right. See, I'm not going to say it. I was going to say okay, but I'm not going to say it. All right. So watch, we're here. Same thing now. I'm in the same spot. We're falling into our place. But now I'm like just not feeling like I'm going to be able to hold this person here. Maybe she knows what I'm doing. Maybe she's just a lot, bigger, or she's moving a lot more. And I'm just like, this isn't working for me. Okay. Again, the nice thing here is as we start to lift and we put pressure here, we pretty much know what our partner is going to do. And by the way, if she does something different, meaning if she goes to disengage this foot first instead of turning into me, that's actually great. Because you guys see, I'm always able, my arm, or my leg rather, is 99% of the time going to be stronger than her arm. So if she clears my hook, even if she's holding on to it, I should be able to just bring that over, and now we're right back into where we want to be anyway, okay? So anytime the person addresses the foot on the hip before turning, I'm happy. That makes me feel good, okay? Makes my attacks a lot easier. So typically I'm here, I'm in that same spot, and Maria I know is starting to turn into me. Maybe I tried this on her once. Go ahead, go to your knees a little bit, like, yeah, and I'm just like losing position. She's too good, okay? So you might like this better right off the bat, or you might want to switch if you're losing control of A. All right, and what we're gonna do is essentially looks like this. It's a little bit different. Okay, so before I brought this one over, and it was really tight. This frame was really short on my partner's shoulder. I'm almost like hugging everything together like a rear naked choke, right? 1, 2, or like the Macarena. You guys ever do the Macarena at a wedding, drunk at a wedding? Like, no? That's an old reference. Okay, so we're here. So the bottom of that hand, that underhook side now, as we're falling over, okay, is just gonna make a little like judo knuckle here, like a little fist, like a little gun, okay? And what I'm gonna do is just come up a tiny bit. I'll be really nice, I promise, okay? What I'm gonna do with that, instead of being super tight here, is I'm gonna take that little knuckle and I'm gonna like find her artery here, just come up a little bit like this, okay? Now, if you don't wanna be mean, you could just make a fist here. It's fine too. Or you could take your hand and put it under your partner's chin just to keep their head from moving. See what feels better for you. For me, that little knuckle works the best, okay? So I'm here, I'm falling, watch, the little knuckle goes in right here. And then that hand, instead of coming tight here, that frame is gonna be short. I like a forearm here, and I like to grab the top of my own hand. So it's 1, short frame, 2, okay? And we're gonna do the same thing now. We're gonna push and we're gonna extend a little bit. When Mario tries to come into that now, go ahead. It feels really terrible, okay? So what I'm essentially doing is almost like I was escaping a headlock or something from the bottom, like kind of, old school, like Gracie self-defense stuff. Maybe some of you guys know where you make like a frame. I'm kind of making a frame. I'm just using this little judo knuckle or a fist here. A fist works too, it's fine. And just cover your hand, okay? Push, pull, go ahead. Mario's gonna come up, go ahead. And notice I just keep her going that way. As she's coming up, now if she beats that, right, go ahead, rewind a little bit, go. It's not the end of the world, right, if she starts to beat it. I just have to make sure she doesn't get to her knees here, okay? So if I do that, and this isn't enough to stop her, which usually it will be, go ahead, yeah, when I do that, can you come in? Yeah, it feels terrible. Most people, it's enough to not want to make them come to their knees. But if she does, here, let's go one more time, if she does start to come to her knees, that's when I'm gonna just bring that leg over either her head or her shoulder, right? So we're here. All right, watch. So here, boom, that's what I don't want to happen. So as she's coming up, rewind, you're too fast for me, okay? So here, as she's coming up, boom, look, my leg comes over her shoulder and I just grab it right here, okay? You guys with me? So it's the same attack sequence that we initiated. But now if you prefer an arm lock, it's fine. Just push your partner's head away and pull their arm. Okay? That make sense? Okay, so we have triangle there. Where we have triangle, we have armbar. Okay, so let's add that in now. You can play with the arm a little bit as you play with the triangle, but let's play with this grip. Again, just look at it when I'm doing it one more time. I know it maybe just looks like stupid, but it actually does work if you do it right. So knuckle goes here, like I kind of find her artery with that finger, right? Or her fist, or the fist, okay? And I bring it right here. Notice that my forearm is right across the line of her jaw, and I'm right here, okay? If she starts to beat that as I move her, I push it into her, but if she starts to beat it right over the top, and now I can push her away, right? Or I can pull her in. Doesn't really matter too. I have chokes here, I have other stuff that I can work, okay? Triangles, etc. All right? So let's do that. Play with that grip. If it's not working for you, grab me, I'll help you, all right? And let's just see if we can flow into the arm or into the triangle, okay? And if you guys have other things that you're kind of thinking you're already doing, like plugging in there, go ahead, plug your, put your ingredients in the broth there, okay? I'm just showing you the broth, okay? Let's go. Let's play a little bit. Go. Okay, so again, you notice with that kimura, as long as you're elevating there, again, it's that same idea of the shoulder into the jaw. It makes it very difficult for my partner to rotate, okay? So there's a lot of stuff we can do from here, and with this grip, even if my partner does escape fully, obviously with any kind of kimura grip like that, we can just chase it. I can always come up to the top if I need to and keep attacking, right? But for now, I'll just show you guys like this little kind of arm lock series here that I use a lot off this. It works really well because again, a lot of this is about understanding where my partner is going to go, okay? So just kind of beating them to the next step. So I'm here, again, inside hand to the wrist, my wrist, okay? And now we're ready to go. I lift and stretch a little bit, making it a little bit uncomfortable for Mario, so she has to go over that hook. As she does, my foot stays connected. Go ahead. Yeah, boom, perfect, okay? Now I'm a little taller, so for me, I typically push myself away a little bit. And I'm not super worried now because I have control of both shoulders. You guys with me so far?
Yeah.
Okay, So now look at the relative position of my heel to Maria's wrist. It's pretty close. And I can move myself away more if I need to get that even a little bit closer. But all I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna pummel, right? Until I'm kind of right at her wrist with my heel, and then I'm gonna try to connect that crook of my knee right to her wrist, okay? Nice and tight. Okay, so I kind of like chop down there and kind of keep her wrist. I still have my kimura, and now watch what I'll do, really easy. I'll just extend her arm, and I'm just gonna use my leg like a little slide here until I find her elbow. So I'll slide down until I find her elbow, and then very gently, okay? I just start to gently put that knee on the floor, I'm sorry, rather that foot on the floor, okay? And I just elevate my hips really slow, okay? And the arm lock is right there. It's a super easy arm lock. I catch this a lot because I'm here. I already moved away from her. All right, all I have to do is clear that wrist. It's my leg versus her arm. And like what we do, I just slide until I find that point of her elbow, and then very gently just create a little leverage there. Okay, and it goes on super quick, so go slow. All right, you guys cool?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna add one more thing just because we only have like a couple minutes, and I do want you guys to play live the last couple minutes here. All right, so I want you guys to add on. You can just try that first move if you never did this before. Maybe just try that, play with it for a couple minutes. But if this feels good to you, okay, as you extend this a lot of times, what the person will do is they'll drive up onto you. Can you drive into me so I can't armbar you anymore? But you'll kind of create this pressure on top of me, and now that arm can't get extended. Okay? As that happens, watch what we'll do. I'll just find my leg, and it'll just slide underneath her, and I'll just kind of nudge her to the side a little bit. And you guys see where we end up? I'm right in the same spot, except now that arm is completely trapped, and I still have the 2-on-1. So now the chokes and everything else becomes super easy. I've essentially switched sides. I'm no longer on that head side that we've been attacking from. I'm on that choke side now. But it's really nice because her arm is completely out of my way, right? And I can just go in and finish, all right? So let's try it. Just play with those couple minutes, all right? Last thing here, we'll play like a little live here with some parameters just to end it, and I'll turn it over to Christian, okay? Let's go. Do it. All right, so that's a lot for an hour. I just showed you guys basically 3 things. I know all of these things take a lot of like sort of little finesse to work and get ideas with connection, and you have to play with it, okay? But if nothing else, we can predict reactions better, I think, than we can with just a seatbelt, because there's a lot of different ways a person's gonna move, okay? So simply put, if you like the sort of kernels of these ideas, these concepts, just play with them a little bit more, okay? And I know in the last 2 minutes here, you're probably not gonna be amazing at this if you're not already amazing at it, right? It's gonna take some work, like everything else that we do. But I just want you guys to play. So, may I borrow you just for one more second? Okay? All right. So just play like, just nice and easy. Just play like a minute and a half each, and then I'm gonna turn it over to Christian. I don't wanna be that guy. So here, okay? We have 3 options, right? You guys can play with. And you can keep trying different ones every time if you want to, okay? It's just gonna be quick, little round, okay? Same parameters as the game that we played at the beginning. Only now you guys have a little more information. So we're gonna play a little bit here, okay? You can either, as you fall, get to number 1 here, okay? Number 2, or, right? Number 3, okay? If my partner escapes fully, okay, either completely puts their back on the floor and disengages from me, good, perfect, she wins. If she turns all the way in to face me, she wins. Go, turn to your knees, perfect, okay? My job is just to hold her. If I can find a submission, that's great, okay? So you can work the attacks, that we did, or your own attacks in there, okay? And let's just play a minute and a half. When the buzzer goes off, I'll just tell you guys to switch top and bottom, okay? And then that'll be it for today. Maybe we should have focused just on one thing instead of 3, but hopefully you guys got a little bit out of it, I hope. Okay, grab a partner, let's go. Let's play with our partner just a minute and a half. For listening to me say okay for an hour, I really appreciate it. As always, always stoked to be here. I appreciate Christian and Vara and everybody else that makes this possible. I've been doing this for like more than a decade now, and it's my family. So thank you guys so much for having me, and it was awesome. And Christian's turn, thank you guys.